I mean, obviously, bullying behavior has, gone on, since, the beginning of time. We can observe it in other cultures and certainly in animal groups as well. Research into it has really just kind of started in the 1980s. There was 3 boys in Norway that committed suicide, and they each left notes that described some of the bullying that they'd experienced at school, and that generated a lot of interest, a national study in Norway, and it's kind of continued from there. Where our study kind of fits in is we've kind of got a group of kids that we followed up over time for 2 decades, so we could look at how they were doing as adults. Based upon the interviews that we did with our kids when they were children, ages 9 to 16, we were able to categorize them as either victims only, bullies and victims, and neither. And then we followed them up into young adulthood, ages 19, 21, and 25, to look at their emotional and behavioral functioning. And what we saw is that the pure victims had elevated rates of anxiety disorders, things like agoraphobia, panic disorder, and generalized anxiety. The bully victims really seemed to be the worst off. They had about 5 times higher risk of depression and 5 times higher risk of suicidal thoughts and behavior, as well as risk for some anxiety disorders too. The bullies did not have any kind of emotional problems in adulthood, but they did still have some behavioral problems, suggesting that they might still be engaging in some kind of bullying, perhaps at work or home or elsewhere.
So one of the things we know about the kids that are bullying, that they're at greater risk for depression and anxiety. They may be more sad, lonely, have low self-esteem, have problems, disrupted sleep, disrupted eating. They may have problems, loss of pleasure, having fun, engaging in activities that they once thought were fun. We know they can have physical consequences. Kids who are bullied report all sorts of psychosomatic symptoms. They might report having more headaches, tummy aches, those kind of things. And actually there's some interesting body of literature, some supported by NIMH, suggesting that immune system functioning is affected by peer victimization and trauma. So that there may be actually very real physical health outcomes, and immune system function can affect a wide range of everything from not only your ability to handle colds and to fight off viruses and things like that, but it also can affect your cognitive development and emotional development as well. There are all sorts of academic outcomes. Kids who are bullied may avoid school. They may do poorly in school. They tend to be more truant and drop out more often.
A lot of this is about raising awareness that, bullying is not a harmless rite of passage. This is something I think that's, people are starting to understand. I think we still kind of look at it as something that's bad, but maybe short-term bad. And part of what we're learning from this study is that these kids, the victims and the bully victims, are continuing to have trouble, a decade after the bullying has stopped.
SAMHSA, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, actually has a registry of prevention programs that are available to schools and to policymakers that includes online resources around bullying prevention, and so that's a resource. Also a great resource put out by the Department of Health and Human Services is www.stopbullying.gov, which is a great resource for parents, for teachers to identify what bullying is, the signs of bullying, the effects, and then what one can do to help prevent bullying itself and then the long-lasting effects of it.
One in 5 children in the United States experience bullying, where a peer harasses, humiliates, or threatens repeatedly. Bullying can have negative psychological, physical, and academic effects. It can contribute to depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, and it can be isolating. Most kids are not directly involved in bullying. They are a witness or a bystander to bullying. Sometimes bystanders get roped into reinforcing the bullying. This can make the situation worse and more traumatic. However, if a bystander becomes an upstander, then something really cool happens. When bystanders to bullying intervene, bullying stops within 10 seconds 57% of the time. Think about it, if bystanders became upstanders every time there was a bullying incident, more than half of all kids would be spared a prolonged harmful experience, and they would feel the support of a peer. Kids with strong leadership qualities and who are self-assured are more likely to be on the defender role, so you are really like a peer superhero when you become an upstander. There are a number of ways you can shift the negative focus of bullying: change the subject, interrupt, question behavior, use humor to lighten up a serious situation, embrace your differences, report bullying and block cyberbullying, protect others and show kindness and empathy, and include others in what you are doing. Every time you stand up and stick up for others, you are making a positive difference and helping a peer who may really need a friend. To learn more about bullying prevention, visit stopbullying.gov.